get wrong, though it's still possible. So we had 3 or 4 devotees pull out just the day before because of the trepidation about the test. Oh no, they've got other reasons as well, actually. Some of them mentioned they're busy, etc. But it is quite easy. Yeah. So how are you going on the slokas? How's everyone going? I haven't checked in lately on the slokas.
I've only done 2, but I haven't uploaded them.
Okay, 2.
4.
4.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to
do 1.
this week I tried like 2. So
Online, how are you doing with slokas? Thumb up there from Brendan. And Sicily, is that how to pronounce your name, Mother? Please excuse me.
Yeah, Sicily.
Hare Krishna. Everyone online progressing nicely with your slokas?
Yeah, we've done. I've done 6. I think you're about to record your.
I've got 3 that I'm about to record.
All right, great. And then there's the open book essay assessment. I think we've received about 3 or 4 so far. Yeah, so that's not so many. So if you could work on that as well, that would help you as well. Rather than as we go on, you've got so many to write and you're getting close to the deadline. Is there a deadline on the closed book? On the open book, excuse me? Next week, next Sunday. Okay, so you've got 1 week left, All right. Okay, any more before we begin today's class in chapter 4? Just to do it with a concept.
When do we have to have uploaded all the slokas, as in the unit 1 slokas?
Yeah, so question here, when do we have to learn all the slokas for unit 1? I don't know. I try and find out. But just you don't want to leave it to the last minute, best to do it progressively, even if do 1 a week or 2 a week. I would very much advise that. Generally I think is going to happen is that you should have submitted all the slokas for every chapter before the end of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18. All right, that's the very last point when all the slokas should be submitted. But again, my friendly advice: don't leave it to chapter 18, or you have to do all the slokas. Okay.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Any questions from anyone online? Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Are all the slokas we have to learn, are they already all online?
They're already there in your student handbook.
Handbook, yeah, I thought. Sorry, thank you. That was.
Yeah, they're there. They're all there. All right.
Thanks.
Any questions? Any admin questions, etc.? No. Yes, Mother Lisa. Yeah.
So next week we're supposed to have the next posting assessment. Is that going to happen?
Next week we're supposed to have
The second posting assessment.
Yeah, now dates have changed a bit, so just bear with us because we had Rath Yatra, we had Snan Yatra, and that wasn't figured in. So just push everything a couple of weeks later.
Right, okay.
Yeah, there you go. So we're not gonna so the dates have changed, okay? So technically we've got 3 more weeks together, 3 more satis together. And the goal is to do 1 chapter every week. So let's see how we go with that. But it might be that we add on 1 week or so. Okay? This one. It's okay? Yeah. So we will definitely inform you of when the classes for this first session, chapters 1 to 6, should be completed, okay? We have a rough idea, just add 2 weeks on. Okay? All right, without further ado, let's begin then. What's the time? Okay, 11:05. Let's do a quick Mangala Charan, Prabhupada, Panchatattva Mantra, Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharini Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Pashtatara Satani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, now my apologies again for the end of the last class. We had a bit of a mishap regarding PowerPoint sharing, etc. So I've made things a little bit easier. So I'm going to share with you basically the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, it's coming up now for those, should be coming up here behind me as well. There it is, okay. All right. Now, I think personally, I'm going to find this easier. Basically, the slides that you do have, all that's on the slides is slokas. So I thought to make it easier to go with the actual Bhagavad Gita here, okay? Rather than mess around with slides and things like that, because I will find it easier. A lot less stress for me, just in case something goes wrong. Then it's easier, okay? Now, something else I was going to say. Yeah, now you can use some of those who printed out the slides. You can still use it to make notes by each verse, if that you might have printed it out, so you can use that facility. Okay. All right. And again, any questions online, please feel free to ask. You can unmute and raise your hand. Okay. Okay, into chapter 4, which is entitled Transcendental Knowledge, Hare Krishna. So, anyone can perhaps try and offer a connection between chapter 3 and chapter 4. Perhaps have a look, just have a look at the end of chapter 3. I'll give you a couple of minutes on that. See if you can offer a connection. It's nice to understand the flow of the conversation. So I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes on that, yeah? Okay, someone's ready. Someone, please go ahead. Someone online. I think someone unmuted and had a suggestion. Or perhaps that was
I was going to go ahead. So the third chapter is about effectively gradually reforming your material propensities and reducing them, so that you're making the benefits of your time in the material world by giving up the outcome of what you do toward Krishna.
yeah.
And chapter 4, the first part of chapter 4 is about how the material universe is designed with the demigods in place to ultimately assist you in this reformatory process, if you adhere to the principles of Dharma.
Yeah, that's not wrong. I think that's a connection that we could consider. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, Alexander.
At the end of the third chapter, they speak, Krishna speaking about how lust covers real knowledge. And so transcendental knowledge is that real knowledge. So it's,
I've got that speaker thing. Yeah.
What's that?
So Alexander's saying here that the third chapter, sorry, let's get this microphone moving. Ended. You again, yeah.
Yeah, the third chapter ends with Krishna telling Arjuna how lust covers real knowledge, and lust is the cover for real transcendental knowledge. And the fourth chapter is Krishna explaining how that real knowledge manifests, that transcendental.
Yeah, you got that? So transcendental knowledge as a means for elevating one's consciousness. Yeah. And also there's another connection as well, which is a little bit deeper. Well,
Swadharma and Sanatana.
what do you mean? So
Speak a little bit about Swadharma before now is not moving into Krishna consciousness as opposed to the mushroom.
yeah, you could say that.
Like chapter 3 was Karma Yoga. Like maybe like chapter 3 was Karma Yoga, which is about devotional projects, and transcendental knowledge is like the how do you understand the soul, and if you want to understand that, you need to understand you need to do devotional service, and then you will get the knowledge of you get the transcendental knowledge.
Yeah. I think we're going in the right direction. What about Lisa? You had to...
Purification that comes from karma yoga, so then you can move on to.
Yeah, I think we got there. That's basically it. Yeah. And also, as in this first verse here, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu. Manu, here comes Virini, instructed to Ishvaku. Okay. Now, Vivaswan happens to be comes from the Surya dynasty. Surya dynasty, the sun god. Yeah.
That's the
Arjuna is coming in the same line. So as will be mentioned, Krishna has already instructed this to Vivaswan. And Arjuna was there as well at the same time, but as will comes out that Arjuna can't remember. So therefore, he's encouraging Arjuna. You should hear this knowledge, yeah? And specifically in the purple, Prabhupada brings this out. I've highlighted some of the purple here. So it was given to Raja Rishis, yeah, to regulate the general people on being influenced by the lower nature, such as lust, yeah. That will be a specific goal. That would be a specific duty of a king, is to give people a practice or a religious practice, quote, spiritual, by which they could be good citizens and not go astray. Yeah, so therefore the kings were instructed in transcendental knowledge. Yeah, so this knowledge we're hearing is for kings, is for rulers of planets in order to govern people. Yeah, and it says, Prabhupada makes this point here. In other words, the executive heads of all states are intended to spread the science of Krishna consciousness so people can take advantage of this great science and pursue a successful path. Yeah. Now, if anyone online, it's easier for me to make the Zoom thing small, then I can see the screen. So if you have a comment or a question, please, you need to raise your hand, yeah? Actually press the button that says raise your hand, because I might not see you on camera. All right. Yeah, Mother Lisa here. You mean the self-study questions? Yeah, I have it ready here this time. I have it ready here. So what I want you to do, if you look in the purple, your self-study question is, at least how many years ago did Krishna speak this science to Vivaswan? If you look in the purple, if you have it on your gadgets, you have it at home, I shall scroll. This is a self-study question, so you might want to take note of it. It's there in the purple. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it 120,400,000?
Yeah, you got it. It's down here. Where is it? At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of Kali Yuga, which lasts 335 before this Dwapara Yuga. Treta Yuga, there's something. Up here. Oh, up here. Sorry, I've got it highlighted here. I did a bit of preparation. Okay. So here it is here. The Gita was spoken to by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivaswan. A rough estimate is that the Bhagavad Gita is 120 billion, 400 million years ago. That's pretty profound. Yeah. And in one sense, it's eternal as well. All right. So that's the answer to self-study question 4.1. So you would just write 120 billion, 400 million years. Yeah. Okay. And Prabhupada also mentions about the nature of this transcendental knowledge. He uses the word apurusha, which means actually it has no human source. It's coming from a transcendent source, which is the Supreme Lord himself. All right. Apurusha, he uses the word down here. This knowledge is apurusha, superhuman. Prabhupada used this word, superhuman. Reminds me of Superman. But so those who do not have the frailties of conditioned souls, okay, Krishna himself, obviously. Now, transcendental knowledge also means that this subject is going to speak. Sometimes Prabhupada speaks of transcendental knowledge being about, anyone can say, about Atma Tattva, the soul. Right? Sometimes he speaks about transcendental knowledge also, but the focus here is transcendental knowledge is about the person who is completely transcendental. So who is that? Krishna. So it's about Krishna. And the next verses will actually show that. And the next verse, Evam Parampara Praptam, Imam Bodhisayvudu, Sakalena Mahatma, Yoga Nasta Parampara. So now it's saying how this transcendental knowledge comes. Yeah. Nice verse to learn. Yeah. It's wonderful.
How does this? The microphone.
We'll have to get faster on this mic.
The disciplic succession that's written in the intro, we've obviously,
It was asked before, yeah.
it's obviously different to the Krishna story. I know Maharaj perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how's that explained?
Everyone online could hear that question. Someone just unmute and say yes.
I couldn't hear.
No.
No.
Can't hear. Something wrong with. All right. Anyway, we've got our technical team working it. But question was asked. Now, if you look at the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, this is coming from Bhakti Siddhanta. Okay. Prabhupada puts the parampara. Okay. And you've got Krishna, Brahma, Narad, Vyas, Madhava, Padmanabha, etc. Now, what we're reading here is a different dislivered succession. Yes. Yep. So is there an incongruity there? Now, if you look at the dislivered succession and the handing down of transcendental knowledge, you try and figure it like a tree. Has different branches. The main trunk says Krishna, all right? And then those who receive Gita, then they will have their own disciples. Yeah. So it's like an all-expansive tree. In the same way as we have, we're reading at the moment in our class here at the temple, the tree of devotional service. Yeah, Prabhupada mentions that ISKCON is one of these trees, is one a branch of the tree. Yeah. But Bhaktisiddhanta, he gave some clarity by actually giving specific or prominent persons going back millennium who have received this transcendental knowledge. Everyone is not included. And the history of all of them is not known as well. Yeah. Just like if you go to a Gaudiya Mat, you look at their parampara, it's going to be different. You might not see Prabhupada there. Yeah. You will see Bhakti Siddhanta, but you won't see Prabhupada. Yeah. They have a different branch. So that's it. So you're going to see where it's handed down. But Bhakti Siddhanta gave a specific focus on those specific acharyas, you know. It's okay. So where's the back? Okay, I need the Bhagavad Gita, I need to see it. All right, so we don't want to. Oh, there it is, yeah. That's it. Sure. Okay, so keep that in mind. So transcendental knowledge, this chapter is going to speak directly about Krishna. So Prabhupada also, when he's speaking about the soul and Atma Tattva, he might mention his transcendental knowledge. But from one perspective, it's just Gyan. Yeah, knowledge about the Sambandha nature of the world, the soul and matter. But transcendental knowledge means that the soul is a servant of Krishna.
You can turn the sound off.
We cannot hear anymore. The sound is off.
Sound is turned off.
Wait, hello, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's okay? All right.
Okay, great, okay. No, evam parampara praptam. Remember to say
It sounds
Sorry.
very quiet.
It's too quiet.
too quiet. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
What happened? Okay, then text 2. Evam para praptam. This is how the transcendental knowledge, how does it come? It comes through parampara. Evam parampara praptam. Yeah. Now it says in a verse that the science as it is appears to be lost. So that's why it's then rejuvenated. Now, it's never completely lost. There was always some sages or some sadhus who are aware of the absolute truth. But as far as its dissemination amongst people in general, then it's sometimes it will, by nature of this material world, that it will decline. And it has to be reset. Krishna has to come again. He has to give the message again, just like water finds its lowest point. Yeah. So therefore, Krishna came again. And he started again, he gave this knowledge. Yeah. It appears to be lost. And again, mentions saintly kings and understood it in that way. And just to read something from the purple. 5,000 years ago, it was detected by the Lord himself that the deliberate succession was broken. Therefore, he declared that the purpose of the Gita appeared to be lost. And then Prabhupada, as it goes on, as he will go on in the next few purples, he makes a strong case about the importance of a bona fide guru and the deliberate succession. He points out here, at the present moment, there are many editions of the Gita, but all of them are not according to the authorized deliberate succession. Yeah. So Prabhupada even goes on to say that unless you're giving what Krishna is actually saying and you're giving a different interpretation of the Gita, that is demonic. Yeah. To lead people astray, to lead people to an impersonal conclusion from the Gita is actually demonic. You're doing injustice, yeah, in the name of philosophy, in the name of being learned. So Prabhupada he says this spirit is demonic because demons do not believe in God. but they simply want to enjoy the property of the Supreme. Yeah. And now the next verse, text 3. Why is Arjuna receiving this? Why is Arjuna the chosen one to receive this knowledge? Yeah. Someone can tell us why is that?
He was an envious. He was Krishna's
Yes,
devotee.
envious.
Surrender to himself.
And he says he's a good friend of Krishna. Yeah. Because you are my devotee as well as my friend. So the word for envy, this comes up in 2 or 3 verses. This adhikar or qualification for receiving Bhagavad Gita means should be, what's the word for it? Yeah. Because that comes up next actually. Because you're my devotee and friend. So in other words, you're not envious of me. Yeah. If someone is yeah, this is a spirit that we have to, that we can really hear Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, we have to be devoted. So in other words, it's not just a academic study. Now we're studying here, you know, we're approaching it academically in one sense, but we're devoted to Krishna. So our life to one degree or another is given to Krishna. Yeah. So therefore, hearing Bhagavad Gita, it should change our heart. It should change our life. You know, if we're in the right mood, the same as Arjuna. Yeah. We're not challenging Krishna. Yeah. I think Prabhupada in the beginning, and we mentioned that in the introduction, he says that you should at least theoretically accept Krishna as God if you're going to have any chance of understanding this Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Because when Krishna starts to say Aham Savashra Pavavo Matasavam Bhavat, everything comes from me. Unless you accept him, Krishna as God, at least, okay, for the non-devotee, theoretically, you're going to come to the conclusion this person's got a big ego problem. Everything comes from me, everything's spiritual. Only Krishna can say that. If anyone proclaims anything like that, then you go, oh, then you got some problems. You know? So in one sense, Bhagavad Gita is a mystery. Transcendental knowledge is like mystery. Someone can completely fail academically, no PhD, no university, but because they're sincere and they're devoted, they can speak on, give, they can understand the Bhagavad Gita and all the Vedic scriptures. Why? Because Krishna reveals it from within the heart. Yeah. So that's why Arjuna is hearing this. That's why, because Krishna could have spoken to so many people, Vyasadeva, Narada Muni, etc. So many persons are present, but he chose to speak it to Arjuna. Okay.
Could I ask a question, please, Prabhu?
Yes, go ahead.
I was just wondering when you said transcendental knowledge comes from the parampara, I was just wondering that I thought I read somewhere that when someone mentally speculates, the furthest they could get is the Brahman realization. They can't get further than that unless they encountered devotees in terms of Bhagavan realization. But I think Sastri and I read a verse in Bhagavad Gita the other day where it said that in the purport that eventually they'll, if someone's sincere, if they're on the if they're mentally speculating, eventually they'll reach Bhagavan realization. Was that what the?
Yeah, that should be understood. Bahunam Janmanan Ante Ganavan Mampapatite Vasudam Samati Samahatma Sudulaba. This verse says, after many person deaths, the Gani, if he is fortunate, comes to Shaunagati and surrenders his life to Krishna. But please understood, in the small print, that will only happen if they get the Sangha of a Bhakta. If that will how their Gyan will bear fruit if they actually meet a realized devotee. Yeah. So ke bahonam janma ante gana. Because in all dislibic successions, there is always a guru, even in the Mayavad line, or the impersonal line. Mahatsaivam tavamaho vimuktis tamo divyam yoti sangi sangam. Even in the Bhagavatam, it says, whether one wants to realize the impersonal Brahman or wants to understand devotional service, they have to hear from a guru. Yeah. So if someone's a Gyani, if they want to become a Bhakta, they will have to, unless they're blessed by direct revelation of Krishna. And there is an example of that. Anyone know there is 4 Gyanis who got direct darshan of Krishna and became bhaktas? 4 Kamaras, yeah, that gives it away when they said 4 Gyanis, yeah. Yeah, 4 Kamaras. Yeah, they smelt the aroma of the tulsi coming from the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord. And they felt a change in both body and mind. Yeah. Is that okay, Prabhu? Did that help?
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Small print that a devotee would have to be in that equation. Yeah. All right. Now, at this point, Arjuna is becoming, he's asking a question here in text 4. Yeah. Right. The sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. So how am I to understand that in the beginning, you gave this science to him? Yeah. Now, I'll just read this part here in the purple. The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You know, I was listening to a lecture on this by Purna Chandra Maharaj, and he describes at this point, chapter 4, Arjuna already understands who Krishna is, the Supreme Person. And describe how does he understand that? Just by looking at his face. just by being close to Krishna. He is knowledgeable of Krishna's position to some degree. To a great, Arjuna is asking this question on behalf of us, of everyone. Yeah. And that's what great devotees do. Even they know, they like to churn. They will ask on behalf of others, for those who may not fully appreciate. Yes, Mavalisi. Yeah.
So before they were on the battlefield, Arjuna knew to some degree that Krishna was.
Yeah, the Pandavas, they had this, he has this relationship, although he's Sakyaras, it's Gauravya Sakyaras, which means he's Sakyaras, friendship, but a sense of awe and reverence there as well. Yeah, because of Krishna's actual position. Remember, Krishna already revealed the partial universal form when Krishna went to make peace.
Oh, sorry. He did reveal
a partial universal form beforehand, and Krishna's been their well-wisher when they, throughout all the years when they were banished into the forest. So they have great faith in Krishna. But when you get to the 11th chapter, the universal form, Arjuna will start to feel apologetic and sorry for the very familiar relationship he had with Krishna, because Krishna reveals his universal form. And his relationship with Krishna goes into different, it changes, fear. Anyway, go off the foot. Yes.
Does the point in chapter 2 where he surrendered, does that have anything to do with it in terms of from that point on? He knows, or is that, straight away?
No, he's Krishna has placed Arjuna into illusion. So Arjuna here also heard the other day, it was described that Arjuna had a nervous breakdown in contemporary language. Yeah. So that's again another opportunity that Arjuna is put into ignorance, and it's arranged by Krishna so that he can then speak Gita. And that's why Arjuna is lost it, so to speak, doesn't know what to do, and Krishna's smiling. Because now he's in the right, now he's showing what's the right mood. Yeah, tad vidi padipatena padipasena. No, that's later. Yeah.
I feel like he's asking this question very late.
Huh?
I feel like he's asking this question very late.
This question here. Why is that? Explain more. Microphone. Quick, move that microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the microphone's not working. Okay, go ahead. I'll have to rephrase the question.
I don't know, like when Krishna, I think chapter 2 he's saying that I'm the God and I'm living. I think at that time, like earlier should be asking this question like how, but I think he was very confused during that time. Like he could have asked this question in chapter 2. He's asking this question after such like
Yeah, because Krishna has just made quite a statement. He said, I spoke this to Vivaswan. But Vivaswan, this was millions of years ago. So this specific point, Arjuna is bringing this out just to hear Krishna's glories, All right. Yeah, because Vivaswan is thousands of years old, Krishna is Arjuna's contemporary. So how could he have struck him thousands of years ago? Yeah. Again, this question is for the benefit of others, And then we go to text 5, where Krishna begins to explain. Yeah. Many verses, both you and I have followed. I can remember, have passed, I can remember them all, but you cannot, Arjuna. Yeah. Arjuna was there, was personally there, hearing Bhagavad Gita when he was giving it to Vyasa from Vivaswan. But he's forgot. Because Krishna is, because Arjuna is not Krishna.
Is that anything to do with Narayana?
I don't know. I don't know the actual. And now this purple here, the acharyas all give Prabhupada gives a long purple here to this verse. See, kind of long, couple of pages or more. All the acharyas give extensive purple here. Bhakti Thakur, Shita Swami, Krishna Chakravarti Thakur, Ramanuja, Madhavacharya. They all give such a big purple on this. Because this is the first time Krishna is speaking about himself here in this verse here. First time he's actually he's speaking about himself, and Arjuna is very clever. He wants Krishna to speak about himself, but technically speaking, this is the first time Krishna is saying, like here, I can remember them all. I think the word is Tani Ham Ved Savani. Yeah. Mavalisya, you have a question?
When Krishna comes, when Krishna appears on earth, he has faithful servants that come with him.
So when Krishna appears on earth, he brings his servants come with him, friends and servants, yeah.
They take birth.
They take birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have material birth because of your attachment to material life. And since they're his faithful servants, and they're his faithful servants, and they know that they know the true position, so why do they have to go through a similar condition as us and go into the body?
Yeah, so Novelist is asking the question. We see that when Krishna comes, he brings what comes with him, his servants and friends also come. So it seems like they are bound by the laws of karma because they have to appear in the womb, take birth, things like that. So why are they going through the same thing that conditioned souls go through? The fact is that they're not. They're actually specially commissioned to come to accompany the Lord in his pastimes. Yeah. We don't have that prerogative, we are not in that same category as conditioned souls. But still, it may seem so. The point that they're in a womb, that's just to facilitate Krishna's pastimes, that they come. Krishna told all the demigods to appear. And they didn't all just, some of them, they didn't all just manifest like that, but they appeared in families. So to appear in a family, they're going to have to go through what externally looks like the same as the conditioned soul. But you should say, no, it's a transcendental arrangement of Krishna. Just like Prabhupada, he took birth from a womb, from, in one sense, but we understand, retrospect, divine plan of Krishna. The Bhakti Thakur, they all have a, although externally it may seem even like Bhakti Thakur, in the beginning of his life, he had some attraction to Christianity, and his family weren't vegetarians as well, but ultimately they play a major role in these Prabhupada and Acharyas. So it looks the same, but it's not. It's not by karma. It's not by, it's by divine arrangement that the Lord's associates accompany him. Isn't it? It's not by...
Protected by the internal energy.
Yeah, it's all arranged by the supreme orchestrator. Yeah, Krishna's divine plan.
So they're not controlled by the three modes of material nature.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, it's not being forced to take birth. I took birth in London, not by divine arrangement, but by the external energy of the Lord. I took birth in East London. It wasn't by the divine arrangement of the Lord. It's by my arrangement. But the associates of the Lord, they accompany Krishna. All the demigods come, as we know, beginning of Krishna book. It's okay? Yeah. Now,
They suffer in the same way, like in the womb, do they still like experience the same pain as a conditioned soul would experience in the womb?
yeah, good question. In the womb, do they go through ignorance like generally? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no, but whatever it is, they are quickly enlightened, and because Krishna is present, so their devotion to Krishna is spontaneous and natural. Yeah, they're naturally attracted to the beauty of Krishna, and they're not envious of him. They're not demons. They're just natural attraction is there. So do they pass stall when they're babies and things like that? So imagine they do. Krishna passed stall.
Asked in the class once. They
So?
said they experience the same pain, but they don't identify with it. Like Prabhupada having a heart attack on the way. So same pain as other people, but don't identify with it.
Yeah. So they played Leela in one sense. They're part of Krishna's divine Leela and play, in the material world. Now, in this pub, there's another. Now, I want you to now. Here's a self-study question here. There's a few. Phyllis, just look in this purple for a couple of minutes. I want you to. What philosophical truths does this verse state? Yeah. As I said, the Acharyas really get into it. Prabhupada gives quotes from Sastri. What is it saying about Krishna? Just go through the purple and come up with one or two clear philosophical truths that what this verse is saying about Krishna. Yeah. So just go through it in 5. This is a self-study question, so I'm helping you here. Let's spend 3 minutes on this before anyone might, then I'll open up for whoever could put forward what they came up with. All right, let's open up then. Any what does it say in the purple? What truths is being explained about Krishna?
He doesn't have a finite body or a finite existence. He's eternal.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like-
Yeah, he is. Can't remember. He doesn't have a. What did you use? Finite body.
Finite body. He's
Fin-
eternal. He doesn't have yeah.
Yeah, he is not subject to time. He is the manipulator of time. Excuse me.
It's a word called Achyuta, which is infallible.
Yeah, very good.
So, yeah, so infallible.
He's infallible. Yeah. He's eternal. He is infallible. This is what he's saying in this verse. Yeah. Yes.
He's the oldest. So all incarnations are.
Yeah, he's the oldest. I think this is the Brahma Samhita verse, isn't it? Yeah, he appears. So he's the oldest. He appears as a blooming youth. Yeah. Although he's the oldest, in one sense, he's eternal. We're eternal as well. But he is the oldest. Yeah. So he is eternal. He's the oldest. That's something.
He manifests himself in innumerable forms.
Yeah, he manifests himself. He's not, again, in innumerable forms. He's not forms like the conditioned souls. Yeah. He can come and go as he likes. Yeah.
Cause and effect.
Wasn't mentioned there. He is the original seed of existence. He's the cause, and what is manifest from the cause is also non-different from him. Yeah, these different vibhutis which are manifest in the world. You know? Yeah.
His
So
body and himself are non-different.
Yeah, his body and himself are non-different. There is no, when it says surrender unto Krishna, it's not to the unborn within Krishna. Prabhupada criticized the commentary on Gita given by, I mentioned that before, Dr. Radhakrishna. He's completely spiritual. Yeah. Krishna, if Krishna is in a bodily concept of life, then that's good. Because his body is completely spiritual. And it is him. Our body is not us. His body is him completely.
And can use any sense to perform any action.
Yeah, that's there. Is it Russian verse? But no. Yeah, that's all the function. He can eat with his eyes. We can't. We can salivate what we see, but for eating, we have to put it in the mouth. Anyway, except in his form, if you tell Mavi soda that, it's okay. He can eat with his eyes. She won't have it. Must see you eat. You're not eating enough, my dear boy. I can eat with my eyes, mother. She won't have it. All right, so we'll have a quick look. Yeah. Okay, I got. Yeah, difference between the Lord and Arjuna is the Lord remembered instant, Arjuna could not remember. That's the difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. Yeah. It's anyone ever forgotten your keys before or forgotten anything? It's a daily happening, isn't it? Daily affair. We forget something, forget this appointment, forget this, forget that. The biggest catastrophe is that we forgot Krishna. But Krishna never forgets. Yeah, he's omnipresent, omnipotent. Every devotional service that we do, the smallest thing that we do, Krishna sees it. Krishna never forgets. Yeah, the smallest thing we might do for Krishna. Yeah. Then he says at the end, the demons cannot adjust themselves to the transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord explains in the following verse. So these are Mayavadis. So now, the next verse, text 6. He's going to continue explaining about his so-called Janma, his birth and his activities, describes here. As I am unborn, my transcendental body never deteriorates. And as I am the Lord of all living entities, I appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So you have a self-study question here again. Explain Atma Mayaya. Atma Mayaya. 4-6. I think we just hit on it just now. He comes by his own. What's Atma Mayaya? Internal energy. So that's simple answer there. But his internal energy. He comes. And his friends come as well. And his associates come as well. But Atma Maya, yeah. I appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Okay, yeah, please. Please, yes.
Now Krishna is in his transcendental form, before him the forms appear differently, don't they? Because he's not that right.
Yeah. The Shingadev, Lord Ram, Matsya, Goma, yeah. But they are actually him. Yeah. So he appears in his original transcendent form of Krishna. Yeah, every millennium. Also, he himself appears in other forms as well, as we know quite clearly. Lord Nrsingadev, for example. Yeah. Prabhupada brings this up. If someone was asked to remember what he did one day earlier, it would be very difficult for the common man. He would surely have to dredge his memory. Sometimes this is put forward as a so-called proof against reincarnation. Oh, that I can't remember it. But there's so many things that we can't remember. It doesn't mean that we wasn't there. I can't remember what I was doing when I was 5 years old. Doesn't mean I'm not 5 years old. So that's not a proof to substantiate non-reincarnation. It just doesn't hold up as a side point. So Prabhupada goes into quite some length explaining in this purport about Krishna's transcendental nature, specifically on the word Atmamaya. Prabhupada speaks quite a bit about it. He comes in his own nature, Swarup, his own form. Yeah. As in comparison to the jiva, who transmigrates from one body to another, Krishna comes himself. Yeah. Okay. I'd read a bit here. His appearance in his original form is his causeless mercy, bestowed upon the living entities so they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is. And it's not, and not on mental concoctions or imaginations, which the impersonalist wrongly thinks the form's Lord to be. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercies. There's another definition. In the verse, it says, Atma Maya, by my internal potency. But Prabhupada further tells us that that's causeless mercy. Yeah, Atma Maya, that is his mercy, he comes. Yeah. He translates Atma Maya, meaning refers to the Lord's causeless mercy. So he appears to fulfill his own desires and to uplift others, okay? He's Ajay, he's unborn, he's Avaya, he was without deterioration. He's Ishvara, he's the supreme controller, the laws of karma. Yeah. Then it says, Krishna appears in the material world in his original form with two hands holding a flute. He appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by the material world. So we have some dhyana, we have some meditation. We can meditate upon Krishna, his beautiful form, and be free of stress and anxiety.
Those other forms, that's not too handy, those other avatars.
Yeah.
So does that mean along with those other avatars and those same pages, he also appeared in his original form as well? Then?
Krishna himself comes in a specific, there is specific time he comes in every millennium. Krishna himself, yeah, it is two-armed form. He actually comes. Actually, the time for establishing Dharma was the same time for Krishna to come. So he comes in his original two-armed form, yeah. As well as he comes in different incarnations as Vraha, Matsya, Korma, etc. But Krishna himself comes. And that's then the next Kali Yuga, following his appearance, which is regulated. It's his sweet will. He doesn't have to, but he comes. Then following that, the next Kali Yuga, then Lord Chaitanya comes.
So when it's in millennium, it's not literally every 1,000 years then that he's appeared, you know.
Millennium here means, anyone know millennium means thousand?
Maybe you can know.
Yeah, it's according to, I don't know the exact number. If someone knows the exact time when Krishna appears, it's
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Millennium is not meaning every 1,000 years.
Okay.
You know,
What does it mean? What does it mean?
millennium.
It's like Yuga.
Is every Mahayuga?
4 yugas, sorry. Someone online said something.
I thought it was every Mahayuga, but I might be wrong about that. 71 Mahayugas in the life of Manu, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Something like that.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know the
Can't
exact
remember.
without looking, but it is a specific time when Krishna comes. Say 71 cycles of
It's got months around.
yeah.
So it would be roughly once every, I think 3.5 million years or something like that. Because in Mahayuga, there's 4 yugas. Kali Yuga is the shortest, 450,000 years. So it'd be
Yeah.
about 3 million years in the Yuga. So it'd be about every 3 odd million years,
Yeah.
something like that.
So don't hang around, wait for the next one. I mean, Krishna's already appeared just yesterday, just a couple of days ago, from one perspective, let alone Lord Chaitanya. He's still here from one perspective. Yeah. So next verse
What
takes.
really freaks,
Sorry?
I say what really freaks people out is that because there's multiple infinite universes, there's so many trillions of Mahayugas going on that he's actually appearing in all these multiple millions of universes as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's like,
That's why it said there was. How many incarnations of Krishna are there? As many waves as there are in the ocean. Sahasrashish, yeah. As many waves as there are in the ocean. He appears in, also described, he appears in every species of life. That can be quite a discussion. Because he appears as a cockroach. It says that. Every species of life. He appears as a fish, a hog, dog. No. Yeah.
actually, this is one of his tricks to trick the demonic, isn't it? To appear as an ordinary entity, trick the demoniac into thinking it doesn't exist.
Then he displays his extraordinary power. Just like when he appeared as Krishna, just as a young baby or young boy, then he killed Putana. So his potencies are fully manifest, no matter what form he appears in. He is God, the Supreme Lord. You know? All right. So then we go to text 7. So Krishna is going to explain the reasons for his appearance. So this is a known, we know yada hidama shaklani bhavati bhada abhutanam tanam shatatatam shri shujami aham. So he comes here when there's a predominant rise of irreligion. So he comes. And this is what he's doing here. He's coming. And then he descends himself. Okay. The word Srijami is significant here. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation. There is no creation of the Lord's form or body. So there is eternally existent. So it just means he manifests himself. Okay. So that's when does he come? The reasons why he comes to establish Dharma. That's why he wanted Yudhisthira Maharaj to That's why he arranged the battle crew, etc. He wanted to establish Dharma. Dharma was rampant under Duryodhana, etc. So then he came to establish Dharma. Okay. Next verse, then number 8. Why does he come, and what does he do? Yeah. Comes to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. Now, he doesn't have to come to annihilate the miscreants. Some could expand upon that. He could influence a leader and another leader to press those red buttons.
He primarily comes to protect his devotees. Isn't that the...
Try and bring that out. Yeah. So he can create so many different ways and means to get rid of the miscreants. Yeah. He doesn't have to come himself, but he comes himself to pacify the devotees who are feeling great separation, and also to enact his pastimes by which we can become attracted to. Yeah. But he comes here to deliver the pious. So to deliver the bhaktas. Yeah. To deliver the bhaktas. But those who are attracted to him, he comes and he performs wonderful, enchanting, beautiful pastimes. Yeah. And he comes to establish Dharma. Yeah. And again, it's mentioned, this word is used here. Millennium after millennium. Yeah, this is text 8, isn't it? There you go. Now, next verse.
There's a second question for you.
Okay, well done. Thank you. Yeah. 4:6. Okay, we've gone. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Let's go to 4:6. So back to 4:6, the self-study. What analogy does Prabhupada give in 4:6 to explain how the Lord appears in every millennium in his original transcendental form? Okay, let's see who can find it quickest. What analogy does he give in 4:6? Prabhupada gives to explain how he appears in his original transcendental form.
Sun.
Go on, explain more. You just said the word sun. Yeah, expand on it a bit more if you can. Go on.
Well, when you can't see.
Your voice is
somebody else to do.
no,
I
it's
think that's somebody else to do. We want to do it. Okay. Prabhupada says when the sun is out of sight, we think the sun has set. When the sun is before our eyes, we think the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position. Owing to our defective and efficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. So we think Krishna is not present, not aware of what's going on. Obviously, he's the Paramatma, he knows what's going on. He's every subatomic particle. So when the devotees cry out for him to come, he comes to aid them.
Okay, it's the sun. What the sun? Yeah. Sun is always the sun, not as if so same as Krishna. So nice analogy gives. Now in text 8, we've just gone through that. We're speaking about it lists 6 kinds of avatars. It's in text 8 in this here. So 6 kind of avatars are described, and here they are. It's down here. I'll highlight it here. Okay. Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Shakti Avesha avatars, Manvantara avatars, and Yuga avatars. Okay. So you might get asked that question in your next. That's quite easy. You get multiple choice. So you're going to, but as we're seeing, if you saw, sometimes the multiple choice question you get, it's going to put a mistake in it. So you have to give it some thought. So 6 kind of avatars. Purusha. Who's the Purusha avatars? Quickly. Dakshay Vishnu, etc. Mahavishnu. And the Guna avatars?
Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu.
Say again.
Look, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu.
Guna avatars, yeah, Gunas, well done. Leela avatars? There's some incarnations fit in two categories. What's the Leela avatar?
Vishnu.
Yeah, Krishna. Or Ram, yeah. Ram. Shakti Vaishya avatar? Prithu Maharaj. Parshuram, Shakti. That means the jiva is invested with a Shakti of the Lord. Sometimes Prabhupada is described as a Shakti Vaishya. Yeah. Manvantara, that's the Manus, okay. And Yuga avatars.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any others? Yuga avatars? Hamsa avatar? I agree with. Anyway, that part you don't have to get. So, but this here is the 8 kinds of incarnations. It's the, right? 8 kinds of avatars. Excuse me. So, text 9. This is a. We all know this verse. Hopefully, Janma Kama Jame Divyam Evam Yovati Trakvataha Trakvatiham Guna Janma Medam Sojuna. Okay, all together. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving his body, take his birth again in this material world. Praise my eternal God, O Arjuna. Okay. So this is the result. Yeah. Yeah. This is the result of realizing his transcendental knowledge. Yeah. Even before one leaves the body, as a comment by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, yeah, devotee becomes free from matter, free from the influence of the lower nature and the lower modes, you know. Okay. And Prabhupada gives an extensive purport. Of course, we don't have time to go through every detail of the purport. We are doing another study of Gita where we go through every purport and analyze everything, but we're doing an overview here, all right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we'll be doing this 4th chapter for about another 2 months, 3 months. So, yeah. Any questions about this? Sounds quite straightforward. Yeah. Everyone knows about Krishna? Why he comes? You're all going back to Godhead. Quite simple. Yeah. We can say one who knows the transcendental nature of Krishna. Yeah. Does not upon leaving the body. Yeah. Any Hindu who knows this verse to going back to Godhead? No, the next verse gives the qualifications that a person should have based on developing transcendental knowledge. That's the next verse, you know. Next verse, Vita Raga Vayakroda Manmaya Mamopashrita Bohovogana Tapasa Punamat Bhavam Adikata Agataha. So this should be the result of actually knowing the tattva of Krishna. Yeah. You become free of attachment, fear, and anger. Vita Raga Vayakrodha. Yeah. This is the state of being absorbed in Krishna. Yeah. And then nice at the end of this verse, one attains transcendental love for me, for Krishna. Yeah. So we have to be described to be purified, and then we can become absorbed in Krishna. The more we're purified of material attachment, the more we can absorb our mind in Krishna. Meditate upon Krishna, meditate upon these qualities, meditate upon these forms, pastimes. The more we're free from the kleshas of this world. Yeah. Okay. Let's read this here. By hearing about Krishna, many persons became purified and attained love for Krishna. So, anyone doubt about going back to Godhead? Sometimes you might. But millions have done it. Millions have become purified and they've gone back to the spiritual world. Yeah. They attained love for Krishna because this was their desire and Krishna fulfilled it. What then occurs when someone takes shelter? That's the next verse. So when one takes shelter of Krishna with something other than a desire to achieve transcendental love. Some persons take shelter of Krishna to fulfill their material needs. Yeah. So the next verse is going to describe that. But before that, I can see a few yawning. So let's have a break, yeah? 15 minutes, is that okay? So come back at 25 past, yeah? According to this watch here, that's fast. That's fast. So it's 10 past now. So come back at 25 past, yeah? And we're here. The next verse, important verse. Hare Krishna. In progress, yeah. So the devotees who worship Krishna in prema, they develop bhava prema, then they go to Goloka Vrindavan. Yeah, as they surrender unto me. So quite, you can say so many things about this verse. It applies to our everyday application of devotional practice. As you surrender unto Krishna, he will reward you accordingly. If you don't surrender, then he won't. Yeah, don't include the activities of Sharanagati. Anyway, so for the Gyanis, they may have misconceptions about Krishna. They may consider his birth and activities to be temporary, and even they may consider he's to be another product of Maya. Yet they're still engaged in some type of Parshana, some type of worship of Krishna. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So there's still some bhakti. Yeah, they have big misconceptions, but still there's some bhakti which is infused, which is in their practice. Yeah. So how does Krishna reward them? He describes here. Well, I respond in kind by making them accept temporary births and deaths again and again. I cause them to fall into loose of Maya's illusion, because that's what they want. Yeah. I give them the reward they deserve, which is miseries of birth and death. But this is different from the devotional Gyani, okay? So there's different Gyanis, yeah? And those who simply want to escape from birth and death, yeah, and obtain liberation, then Krishna will give them Brahmananda. They will merge into Brahman. Yeah. So then, okay, went over that quite quick. A lot could be said about that, but we have to move through a few verses today. Yes.
Devotional Gyan, is that like Prahlad Maharaj or no?
Devotional Gyanis. Who are Gyanis? Who is Uddhava? Yeah, he's considered Uddhava, yeah. There's 4 types of reasons why people approach Krishna. Chaturvada bhajanti mam janasika atana ati tiknasi atati Gyani Paradashapa. So one in distress is Gajendra, one seeking wealth is Dhruva, one who is inquisitive is the sages of Naram Sharanya, and the 4 for Gyan is the 4 Kamaras. We've got that right. 4 Kamaras, yeah. Okay, so then going on. So then the question might come then, why don't, if Krishna gives you whatever you want, if you invoke Krishna in your sadhana, you're going to achieve success of what you want. Okay? So why doesn't everyone surrender to Krishna? So that's the next verse. Yeah. Many in this world desire fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Why? Because they get the result quicker than what you do through worshipping Krishna. Krishna, it takes some time for you to get purified and a result to come. Yeah. So one who worships Krishna for material benefit, they will get it. First, Krishna is going to purify your heart. That's his kindness. So then you look upon what you've got and you think, oh, why was I approaching? Why was I asking for this? And who's the example? Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva is given.
Yeah.
So by worshipping the demigods, they're kind of, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, we are not part and parcel of the demigods. Okay? So Krishna has a fatherly, he has an intimate connection with all of his jivas. So for those who surrender unto him, even if it's material things, he's going to treat them specially. He's going to arrange things in such a way that they give up their material desires. And then they desire the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. The verse describes he is very intelligent. Those persons who worship me for material things, they compare to those who drink poison rather than nectar. Instead, I shall make them, so I shall arrange things in such a way that they desire me instead. And that's Dhruva. Yeah, he had that. He had a big desire, but then he was regretting. Yeah, so that's why persons why do they worship others to fulfill their desires? Because if they get it so quicker, they get birth and death. Yeah, you understand? Like demigods are just kind of doing their duty, but those who worship, even if what they give their worshippers causes havoc. That was is it Lord Brahma gave Hiranyakashipu great havoc. There's many stories like that. Just like if a drunkard, he's obviously drunk. Obviously, alcohol is killing him by the look of his face. If the drunkard's got money and he goes into off license, the person behind the till is not going to say, "No, I don't think you should have this. It's not good for you. It's destroying your life." No, he's take his money and wrap up the bag. So Krishna is so happy when someone approaches him, karma shava moksha, karma udadati. Even if it's something material, he's going to manage you in such a way that you're going to develop loving attachment to him. That's how kind he is, All right.
So one is safe and one is very dangerous.
Yeah. Again, we're parts and parcels of Krishna, right? Well, he's parts and parcels, not part and parcel of the demigods. So there's the difference. So then so Krishna is the supreme controller. So he's responsible. So is he responsible then for the suffering, enjoyment, and pain and pleasure of everyone in this world? Huh? Yeah, we have chosen. So then the next verse is kind of highlighting this. Text 13 one now. Okay. So according to the three modes and the work described to them, Krishna created the 4 divisions of human society, okay? So he is a creator, but you should know he is the non-doer, being unchangeable. So we'll look at this a little bit. Let me just keep check on these. For 12, we have a self-study question. A quick one. What is a pasandi? A pasandi. What's the definition? Pasandi.
Okay.
Sorry? Atheist, yeah. Okay, that's what it says in purple, chapter 12.
Yeah.
Self-study question, a pasandi. Yeah. Different faiths have different names for atheists. Christians call them heathens. What do they call them?
It's someone who thinks that the demigods are equal to Krishna.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for pointing that out. If someone thinks, the Prabhupada mentions that, if someone equates the demigods with Krishna, then they're also considered to be in the category of an atheist. That's how grave the mistake is, to actually consider the demigods to be non-different than Krishna. They're in a category of an atheist from the Vedic perspective. They're called the Sunday. It's a grave mistake to make. Yeah. All right. So then back up to text 13. So the Varnashram is created by Krishna, but it's not Krishna who placed the jivas within that system. It's the wayward desires of the jivas. It's there to facilitate the wayward desires of the jivas that they're in this system. Yayata mampapadyante, again, as they surrender unto me. Yeah. Now, Krishna himself is always transcendental to the Varnashram. Yeah. Even though he seems to follow it to some, while in this world, where he seems to be observant of the rules of Varnashram. Sometimes to highlight, he may step outside of the rules of Varnashram. That's another subject. Yeah. But though acting in this world, he is not part of it. That's what's been described here. Yeah, he is the non-doer, being unchangeable. Yeah, that's Krishna. All right. Now, so Krishna now going to explain further how he's the non-doer, how he acts. And this is text 14. I'll read this one. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. Whoever understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Okay. So Krishna is expanding on this same principle, but he's given an addition that if we understand Krishna, we also, how Krishna is situated, we can also be transcendental. Yeah? We can also become disentangled. Just read, the conditioned souls bound by their independent desires for pleasure try to act based on those desires. Yeah. So this causes the material modes of nature to act, and so therefore one is bound by karma. Yeah. Krishna's own actions are different. Krishna engages in many activities, but while acting, he is materially aloof and desireless. So if we understand these facts about Krishna and we apply this transcendental knowledge, we can be just like Krishna and not entangled. Yeah, Arjuna, if you apply this transcendental knowledge about me, by acting in this warfare, you will not become entangled, as I am not entangled. I am in Varnashram, I seem to act, and I create it, but I am not subject, I am not entangled. You can also be not entangled if you apply this transcendental knowledge. You can fight, you can kill thousands of people. It's quite intense, isn't it? There's no reaction. If you kill one person outside of then you're culpable. Arjuna is going to kill millions. But because he's acting in transcendental knowledge, he's not going to become entangled. There's no karma. So Arjuna before, he doesn't understand this. Remember, first chapter, second chapter, he thinks he's going to get simple reactions. It's not. As Krishna acts in this world, those in knowledge of Krishna, his janma, karma, free from attachment, fear, and anger, offering the results to Krishna, yeah, nishkam karma, yeah, they're not entangled when they move in this world. Yeah, well, yeah. And then he's going to encourage. Now, next verse, he's encouraging, verse 1 now, that others have acted in this knowledge. So this is text 15. Yeah. Great liberated souls have acted according to this. Yeah. So you should follow your duty, follow in their footsteps, Arjuna. Yeah. Understanding Krishna's nature. Act as, and through your work in this world, as an act of devotion for Krishna, and you will also be not entangled, just like Krishna. Many souls have done it in the past. Yeah. I think that comes later. Yeah. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Yeah. Now we come to text 16 to 24. Krishna is going to explain now about work, about karma, how it can be seen as inactivity, and vice versa. Yeah. So Arjuna is going to be acting, but if he's acting according to what Krishna is saying, it's not acting. Yeah, it can be. It's quite interesting. Yeah? See, so because he's acting, he's not acting in the sense that he's not acquiring karma. So he's acting, but he's acting in transcendental knowledge. So in one sense, he is not going to suffer the same results as someone who's in ignorance and acting. Yeah. But then this is quite not always easy to understand. So that's check 16. What exactly is action? What is inaction? It's often like Arjuna had that question in the beginning. What should I do or should I not do? So sages, they often have to question themselves, should I do this or not? You know, what is the dharmic thing to do? What is action? What is non-action? Am I going to get his reaction for this or not? Yeah, that's why it's good to ask and consult with seniors. What is, yeah? So he mentions even the intelligent are bewildered. Yeah. Describe what action is. So he describes, but I should explain to you, knowing which you will be liberated from all misfortune. In the next verse 17, he brings up vikarma. The word vikarma. We're familiar with this. So we have karma, we have vikarma and akarma. So karma means, quickly,
Action, reaction.
to activities that are done according to Vedic injunction, your basic duties. Then you've got vikarma.
Shouldn't be done.
Yeah, it shouldn't be done. It's like the opposite. Arjuna thinks fighting is vikarma. Yeah. So these are prohibited actions that give bad results. Then we got next, the last one we're missing, akarma. So that is
No reaction.
no reaction. Why? Transcendental, because it's done according to transcendental knowledge of Krishna. Yeah. Now interesting, Prabhupada equates in the purple, vikarma and karma together as vikarmic. Even if you're doing your dharmic duties, if you're not giving results to Krishna, it's just like vikarma. Because you'll be bound again, you're going to take birth again. So Prabhupada in the purple, he equates karma with vikarma. So everyone's encouraged to engage in devotional service to Krishna. All right. Now he's introduced vikarma. We're going to text 18 now. Again, any questions online, please feel free to ask. So he's going to return to the distinction now between karma and akarma. Yeah. So text 18, one who sees action in inaction, and action. Now, one who sees inaction in action, and action in inaction, is intelligent among men. And he is in a transcendental position, also very busy. Yeah. It's quite simple. So inaction, so you see a book distributor on the street. The non-devotee thinks What do you think? All type of things. Yeah, I remember when I first joined Krishna consciousness, and my father just lives not. He used to live not far away. And, I was on the street, issuing books, getting money, donations, and he was watching me from. He would be watching what I'm doing, watching me, and I didn't know till after, and because he came from a background all about money, so he was convinced that what I was doing was just a big con. I was giving the money to someone up the top, which was true, giving money to Krishna. So his vision of what I was doing was I was doing something completely materialistic. But I wasn't. I was completely doing something untouched by the world, untouched by the modes of nature. There was no karmic reaction for me in stopping people, giving them a book and getting them to give a donation. And so inaction refers to devotional service. Yeah, inaction.
Sorry, just
Yeah, go, please. Yeah.
so just before we get to doing karmic duties and giving them to Krishna, we have to identify our dharma, right? So we're not doing somebody else's.
Yeah, we should understand what is our place, what is our situation. Yeah, that helps a lot. But even if it's not clear, give it to Krishna. And things will become clear. Yeah. Now I've just seen here, I've been racing ahead. Number 8, 413. List the modes predominantly influencing the 4 divisions of human society. So go to 413 in the purple. A Brahmin moves under what mode? Goodness. A Kshatriya, passion. A Vaishya, mixed passion and ignorance. Sudra, ignorance. Okay, so that's the answer to that. It should be there. 413. The 4 divisions of human society. Now, it doesn't. Now, that's a whole subject. We won't go into it. It doesn't mean every Sudra is in the mode of ignorance. Okay, this is objectively speaking. If someone may be a devotee, they're completely transcendent to the modes. But that's another discussion we don't have time to get into. So 413. Then 414. Krishna says, there is no work that affects me. Give one analogy from the 2 mentioned by Prabhupada in the purple that illustrate this point. Even though, all right, so quickly look there, 414. Let's see if we can identify one of the analogies that Prabhupada gives. Okay. 414. Perhaps I'll go there for you so you can see it here. 414.
King is not subject to the state laws.
Yeah, go on. 9.
Material world, king can do no wrong and is not subject to the state laws. Simply the Lord is a creator of the material world and is not affected by the activities of the material world.
Yeah, so one example is the king. He's not subject to the same laws as the citizen. That could be questioned. That's what Trump's trying to do.
Yeah.
Without going down there. And there's another one as well, it seems. There's two and analogies given here. Let's fish out the other one. 14.
God, we must,
Go on, explain more.
as mentioned, 14 law, the Supreme Lord knows all his past lives as well as those of those who had Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he recommended the act of sun God who not decide from the Lord some means of years ago.
Yeah,
So
so
once the students of Lord Krishna mentioned him as a liberated person.
yeah, so example another analogy is given in reference to the sun god, okay? So there's 2. Now back to 16. We've got a list of 12 Mahajans. Anyone know that verse? Swayambhuvan, Narad Shambhu, Kapila Kumara, we know here. 16. Here it is. Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma, Sukadev Goswami, Yamaraj, Janak, and Bali Maharaj. So you're being asked to list 12 Mahajans there. Again, you've got it easy, man. You've got multiple choice. You're just going to see it. But they might give the wrong persons in that list, right? And there'll be probably, if you get asked that question, it'll be given 3 possible answers. So you want to know it. Kayambo, Narada Shambho, Kumala Kapila Mono, Palado, Bali Vaya Saki Vayan. I need to go back on that verse. Okay, so there's 12 Mahajans. Now back to where are we on now? Yeah, so back to 18. Okay. Next one's at 24. Okay. So in action is devotional service. Okay. There is no reaction. I mean, that's why, one time I got arrested. I got arrested a couple of times in book distribution. You know. But I felt completely happy because I know that according to God, I wasn't guilty of anything. But according to the policeman, I was guilty of collecting money on the street. But I was, I got put in a police cell as well, We got put in a police cell. He was quite happy chanting around. Had to go to court as well, So I got criminal record for book distribution. No, I think they just, I think the police, I can't remember. But anyway, I felt I'd done nothing wrong. I'm following Lord Chaitanya's told me to do this. Of course, they didn't tell that to the judge. Perhaps I should have. Tribhuvannath would do that. Tribhuvannath will do that in full. But I actually felt completely. I felt quite. I didn't mind getting arrested because I know, according to God, I'm doing a good thing. So
when I was a young, when I was a young lawyer, I'd come across a few murderers, and I used to read the Bhagavad Gita, and I thought, if I kill them, that'll be all right. I realised that'll be a big shit, so I didn't do it. Right.
So you're a lawyer in your beginning days, a lawyer, yeah. Yeah, according to Bhagavad Gita, if I kill you, then there's we have to be careful. We do have to follow. You bring up a good point because we shouldn't be oblivious to state laws. We should follow. Also, objectively, we should be careful. Yeah, don't.
On the record.
Anyway, ISKCON has a history. There was one devotee who, I won't go into details, but he killed the person who had affairs with his wife, based on things. So, Hare Krishna. So he got a reaction for that. Yeah. Okay, let's move on quickly before I get entangled. So action in action is the opposite. So a sannyasi, he has no transcendental knowledge, but again, if he appears not to be performing any work. Now, as a soul, you have to move in this world. So even if you're a sannyasi or a renounced person, when you're walking, you're going to tread on living entities, drinking water. You're just going to be entangled. So you think there's no action, but actually it's full of action. You understand? That's why in the household life, in Vedic household life, then you're obliged to do these different yagnas to appease because when you're cooking, you're going to kill. When you're taking water from the well, there's entanglement there, So in other words, just read this. For example, a sannyasi must breathe. He must eat. He steps on living entities as he walks. All these have no transcendental basis for him, and thus reactions occur to him. And then also if you make artificial attempts, what did we cover that verse as well? What can repression accomplish, Arjuna? Yeah. Better engage your nature. Yeah. So artificial attempts at inactivity, with an impure mind, it can lead to eventually fall down. Yeah.
So the conclusion of that is that even the sannyasi has to do bhakti, otherwise he's in trouble. It's in karmic reactions because his body has to be used if it's doing harmful things.
Yeah, if you engage in devotional service and offering the food to Krishna and etc., then one is free of reaction. There's action, but it's inaction. There is no result. Okay. Right. So then we.
What about Jnani sannyasis? But then they're reading scripture, so that's their action.
Same. They're still if they take up Mona Vrat, they take up meditation. They're still when they sit down to meditate, it's just being in this material world. Yeah. That's why he just said Krishna is saying to Arjuna, there will be no reaction for you here if you engage in this fight. Because that's the whole subject. That's what people want to understand. What is the right thing to do? That's why they approach Brahmins. What's the right thing to do? What is my duty? They want to do activities which are not going to bind them to the world. Yes, Arjuna. So Krishna's telling Arjuna, no, there is no action here. It's a karma. There's no karma for you. So number 19. So this is further explained. Let's read here 19. One is understood to be full knowledge whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions to work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Beautiful, isn't it? These verses are so nice. In full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. Right, now someone could read just the beginning of this purple, and I'll tell you just the first, there's not much here. Someone could read this purple from 19.
Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness, because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratification propensalities. It is to be understood that he has burned up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal subsidiary of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development to his knowledge of eternal subordinationship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once written, can burn up all kinds of reaction to work.
Okay. Now, this is quite an advanced stage of devotion, as the next verse will highlight, You're ever satisfied, abandons all attachment to results of his activities. He's satisfied, ever satisfied, independent. He performs no fruitive action, although he's engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So quite amazing. You're still engaged, but you're situated in transcendental knowledge. And your purpose for acting is out of service to Krishna. This is how we have to learn to act in this world. Going to work, a family, we're doing it out of a sense, should be doing it out of a sense of service to Krishna. Then we're not going to become entangled. And I hope don't mind going a bit quick here. It's okay.
I can't understand why anyone would want to do Vanashram when you've been presented with this option. It's not any more work physically. The reward is so much better.
Why would someone want to
do Vanashram when you can do it in Krishna consciousness? I mean, you have two options, right? Do your prescribed duty or work in Krishna consciousness. So if you get
you do your prescribed duty, you do your duties according to Varna and Ashram, and Nishkam Karma, you're offering it to Krishna. Yeah, you're offering the results of that to Krishna. So you act within Varnashram, but you're offering the results. Yeah, you're engaging in devotional service and you're worshipping Krishna. Yeah.
To do it directly, you have an option where, like it says, to just work directly in Krishna consciousness. and just surrender everything to Krishna and do it for Krishna?
No, it depends on yours. Depends, you know. You can surrender. Someone could be in marriage and work, and they could fully surrender to Krishna.
Mm.
They're doing everything. The whole Bhakti Thakur,
Mm.
you know, he had a family, etc., and he did it all for Krishna. Yeah,
Yes.
it's not just yeah. Yeah.
So in terms of people that follow Varnashram without seeing the ultimate cause has been.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
in that way. That doesn't make sense when you can do it with ultimately Krishna in mind.
yeah. Well, then their desires to attain the heavenly planets. They're attached. You know, as we read earlier, they're attached to flowery words of the Vedas by doing good duties.
Mm.
They go to Swaga. You know,
Mm.
they're influenced by the modes of nature like that. You know. Good. All right, where was we? We're on 20, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we should give up. So basically, answer that we should not give up work. But we should be. Well, here we should not give up work. We should be satisfied by dutiful work. Yeah. We should give up again. This comes up again and again. The fruits of attachment.
Mm.
Yeah, we should give up the attachment to the fruits of the work. So, yeah. So this is a sadhaka, someone who's progressive in spiritual life. They're a sadhaka. They're progressing. They're not just coming into the temple and they're actually practicing spiritual life, you know. So they're called sadhakas. Yeah. Now, text 21 and 22 is going to describe the perfection of consciousness, what that manifests in one's consciousness. What does that look like? So this is how it manifests here. The mind and senses are controlled. 21. All sense of proprietorship. Krishna is the owner and controller of everything. Yeah. Krishna owns everything. He owns my washing machine. He owns my car. He is. My children belong to him, actually. And then they're not entangled, so they're quite self-satisfied, so they can only when they go shopping, they put the bare necessities in the basket. Yeah. They try to. So they act only for the bare necessities of life. The bare necessities of life. Yeah. So that person's not entangled in this world. Everyone's trying to get more and more and more, isn't it? They're not. Do people live with the bare necessities of life? No, 3 cars, 10 pairs of shoes, 15 coats, whatever it may be. 15 pairs of shoes or 60 saris. One time as a brahmachari, I had 20 dhotis. I collected them up over time and I got fed up with it. I just, I wouldn't wash. I had 20 dhotis, so I would be too lazy to wash them. So it is. Now I just keep 3. For many years, I always have 3 dhotis and 3 colors. Bare necessities, keep it simple. One Maharaj used to say, "Keep it simple, stupid." Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, so devotee, this is someone in transcendental knowledge. This is how they move in this world. They're free, they live very simply, the bare necessities. Okay, got my place, got my this, got my that. That's it. The rest of my energy goes on Krishna. Yeah. Doesn't mean you don't have anything. It doesn't mean you might not have children or family. You have that. But you live you're satisfied in Krishna. So you can live very simply. Yeah. For Krishna consciousness, you can live very simply. Very much more cheaper as well. And you'll be naturally happy. Organic happiness will come from within. You don't have to, you can't buy it, as we know. Okay. So then 20. He is satisfied with gains that come of its own accord. This is quite mystical. Gains that come of their own accord. You're not racking your brain unless you're not desperate to get money, more. It'll come, let it come. It's a balance to find, especially if you have a household. You've got to be somewhat aware of the things you've got to pay for. But at the end of the day, of transcendental knowledge, you've got a sense of release. Actually, I'm dependent on Krishna. How much money is going to come? Yeah. You'd be satisfied with gains that come of their own accord. Okay, I didn't make the money I wanted to. I only got this amount of money. What to do? Sometimes you meet devotees been practicing 45 years, even a household, they got a sense of complete detachment. Those are in families, they've had children, they're completely detached from what this world's going to give them or not. It is not their concern. Not their concern. The concern is about the devotion of Krishna. Yeah. So there's one who does not envy. Why doesn't they envy? Because they're full. They got Krishna. So they're not envious of anyone who has anything more so-called material. Because they got Krishna, and Krishna is everything. There's no envy. Yeah? Their success and failure is a part of the material world. So they're steady. Yeah, they're steady. They don't lose their mind in difficult situations. Yeah, an example given is Madhavendra Puri. Now, there's some sannyasis or some mendicants, then they will beg a certain amount of doors. They will go to 3 doors for Madhu. Yeah, they will go to 3 doors to beg. But some sannyasis will not beg. If anyone gives them prasad, they eat. If they don't, they don't. So that was Madhavendra Puri. He would never ask anyone for anything. If someone in the village happens to see him and bring him prasad, fine. If not, Krishna wants me to fast. Quite a high level of detachment. Yeah? Even there's some sadhus that they won't take anything that's hanging on a tree. They will wait till it drops. They take vows like that. I will wait till it drops. I will not pick from a tree even. Really attached. We don't function like that when we're walking through a supermarket. But yeah, and then the story, Madhavendra Puri is, then Krishna brought him some milk, isn't it? Krishna. A wonderful story, yeah. So now verses 25 to 33. Okay. 25 to 33. Did I skip a few verses there? No, 22. 23, yeah, sorry. Slow down. I'm going a bit too fast. Okay, so 23. All right. The next verse, this is going to bring up Yagna. Now, this will be expanded, in 25 to 33. Yeah. Okay. The Prabhupada here says, so he translates Yagnaya in 23 for the sake of Yagna. So Yagna is Krishna, okay? Our work is automatically situated in transcendence when it's performed as a sacrifice for Krishna's pleasure. Yeah, the work of a man who's unattached to the modes of material nature, who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge, merges entirely into transcendence. Sometimes Prabhupada explains it that a devotee lives in Krishna. Intriguing. He lives inside Krishna. Means they're completely encapsulated. Everything they do is a sacrifice for yagna, it's for Krishna. So it can be said they're actually living situated within Krishna. So everything they do merges into transcendence. Yeah. So then we come to 24. Having understood that, they're sure to obtain the spiritual kingdom. Yeah. Because their whole life has been one of yagna. Yeah. So in one sense, it's what they're doing is non-different from actual the result. It's completely Krishna, which the consumption is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. There is no duality. Come, picture Prabhupada. Everything he did and said was in service to Krishna. Yeah. So sure to obtain the spiritual kingdom. So in other words, we're not just speaking about half an hour meditation at the yoga club on the Thursday evening. Now this year, the whole life becomes dovetailed to Krishna in transcendental knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. Work done in transcendental knowledge and performed as a sacrifice is, along with the results, absolute. It was all work done for Krishna's pleasure, produces no karma. So what is it then? If there's no karma, it's transcendental. It is absolute. Yeah.
So, attachment, say for instance, a certain number of Srimad Bhagavatam sets, you want to distribute them. And you set a certain amount, but you don't achieve that. Is that then, are you being too attached to the results? Or is there still attachment because it's for other people's spiritual benefit?
Well, it can be a bit of a test. So in other words, Mother Lisa's bringing up the, if someone has a goal to distribute 10 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams, they're quite attached to it, maybe. Then they only distribute 5, you know. Is that, and they become upset.
Not necessarily upset, but how could I do, what could I do to achieve that? Maybe thinking of different ways to do it and stuff. Is that then, is that the personal attachment there? Because actually you still want to achieve that goal, you're a little bit attached to a result.
Well, it's the reasons that you want to, if the reasons that you want to distribute them sets is not touched by the modes of material nature, you can close. If you can close the thing, you can close this. Now, point finding that it will be a bit of a test. In other words, you made a sankalpa, you know, to hopefully distribute this amount. Now, if that's mishra, if it's mixed with some mode of passion or ignorance, so if I distribute 10 sets, I'm gonna make a bit of a name for myself here, you know. So it's not completely pure. So when the result doesn't come, you're gonna be upset, or you're gonna get really fruitive, you're gonna get really intense with people on the street. Buy a set, get a set. I'm exaggerating a bit. You have to take when you come, you know. But if you really are detached, if you really want to, you've really done your best. And you've done your best for a right reason, then when the result doesn't come, you're not going to be unduly disturbed. You're going to pray to Krishna, oh Krishna, I tried my best. Please let me think of how I can do it, how I could offer this service to you, Krishna. You know, you're not going to be in a bad mood and because you're distributed, you know what I mean? Because if you're doing it for your self-aggrandizement, then when the result doesn't come, you're going to be disturbed. But if it truly is just for Krishna or just for the pleasure of the spiritual master, then that's transcendental. So when the result doesn't come, you see Krishna's hand in it. Oh, what's the Krishna? There's a lesson here. Krishna wants me to be detached. You know, it's quite mystical Bhakti because if you're attached, people know it when you try and stop them. They pick it up in your voice, even there. And I won't give you a donation. Some do, but generally it's mystical. But if you're really detached, people like to be in your space environment and when there's whole stuff. Is that okay? It's okay. Yeah.
You might even do 11 instead of 10 that way.
Yeah, you do more. You get more, yeah. All right, Hare Krishna. Time check, 10 minutes. Okay. So yeah, let's go on. 24, I just looked at that. Just want to give some here before we go to 25. Yeah, so In the next 9 verses, 23 to 33, Krishna's 25 to 33, Krishna is going to explain to Arjuna that transcendental knowledge, ultimately about Krishna, is to be attained through sacrifices and austerities. This is the goal of all sacrifices and austerities. The goal is actually transcendental knowledge. So he's going to go through these different types of sacrifices and austerities. That the goal is transcendental knowledge. Yeah. So here he explains. So he introduces it, text 25. Yeah. Some yogis perfectly worship demigods by offering sacrifices to them. Some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Yeah. So he described then 26 sacrifice according to one's position in Varna and Ashram. Now, the brahmachari's mind is controlled when it's engaged in solely hearing and chanting about Krishna. The grihasta performed their sacrifice is restricting sex life according to sastric injunctions. That's the sacrifice within the grihasta ashram. It sacrifices a brahmachari and the grihasta. So he mentions others. Yogis, control of the mind of the center of the offer the functions of all the senses and the life breath as oblations into the fire of the controlled mind. Right? So there's 10 kinds of life airs, 5 major, 5 minor, and controlling them. Yeah. Which is then Krishna will speak in his next verse. He speaks more about this in chapter 6, which is Astanga Yoga. So just keep in mind, these are different ways that people engage in sacrifice and austerities, but the goal is transcendental knowledge. And they obtain different degrees of knowledge through these acts of sacrifice. And some, having accepted strict vows, become, some enlightened by sacrificing their possessions. Yeah. Others by performing severe austerities. If you meet people who there are some persons who do give away everything, even though they have lots, they give away everything. And if you speak to them, they will they will be able to speak about detachment very nicely. You know, even though they may not be devotees, just that act in itself. If you teach, they will definitely be of a sattvic nature. You know, so there are some persons who have done that in life. They give away everything and just walk, give away all their possessions. You know? Some by performing severe austerities, yoga, eightfold mysticism, for studying the Vedas, etc. Then we have 29 pranayam. Breathe in 4 seconds. Hold it for 7. Breathe out 8. You do that for an hour, Yeah. Now Krishna in 30, then he sums up the purpose of all those sacrifices in 30. So spends day to become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of sacrifices, they advance towards the eternal atmosphere. Yeah. So Prabhupada explains that sacrifices are meant towards sense control and free the performer from sinful reactions. Yeah. 31, one can never live, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then to speak of the next? What people don't understand is people in the Western it's just their life is one of no sacrifice. Don't sacrifice anything to anyone. Just somehow enjoy. Yeah. But if we control our lives, we sacrifice some time, we sacrifice some money. Yeah, that's what human life is meant for. Yeah. then you become free from simple reactions and go forward to the eternal atmosphere. That's why in chapter 12, Krishna recommends for those who cannot take directly to hearing and chanting, at least he cannot work for Krishna, he cannot give money to Krishna. Okay, at least give money to someone. And even in the Prabhupada, in the purple, Prabhupada says, if you can't do that, he says, even if you serve the military, that'd be good for you. The sacrifice, he mentions in the purple. I forget the word he uses. But. So in other words, Western life is just about a lot of some, not all, just about enjoying as much as you can with no sacrifice at all. So you don't want to sacrifice your time, anything for no one, for nothing. It's all for me. But Vedic life, or traditional persons all persons would engage in some type of penance, some type of sacrifice. Yeah. Okay, 32. All these are approved by the Vedas and they're born of different types of work. Knowing them, you will be liberated. Prabhupada's purport. Different types of sacrifices discussed above are mentioned in the Vedas to suit the different types of workers. Because men are so deeply absorbed in the bodily concept, that's why they're there. Because they're deeply absorbed in the bodily concept, these sacrifices are so arranged that they can work either with the body, with the mind, or the intelligence. But all of them are recommended for ultimately bringing about liberation from the body. This is confirmed by the Lord herein by his own mouth. Yeah. Superficially, these sacrifices appear different. So they're born of different types of consciousness, different types of modes of material nature, but their goal, what's the goal of all of them?
Free from the body concept of love.
Go up further. Transcendental knowledge. And that's the title of this chapter. And that brings you freedom from material life. If there's no transcendental knowledge comes from these sacrifices, Shrama eva hi kevalam. Simply used a waste of time, because human life is meant for advancing in spiritual life. Yeah. Modern man attempts to find happiness without performing sacrifices. His sense enjoyment may increase, but what do they not get? Happiness. Yeah. So there's so much facility for sense enjoyment, isn't there? So much. Where is we distribute books? I've distributed books in place to devotees go. No, there's Brick Lane. Anyone been to Brick Lane? Go, it's on a Saturday. There must be 10,000 different ways you can eat in Brick Lane. Hundreds and hundreds and every shop, isn't it? There's a different way you can eat from a different part of the world. It's like, first there's so, it's like, oh, when I was there, it's like, yeah, this is the material world. So many different things you can do that's offered to you in the material world. But will you experience peace of mind? Happiness that is natural? Contentment? No. So in other words, everyone's trying to find happiness, but without sacrifice. Let's say the person doing voluntary work in the Oxfam shop will be happy. Yeah? Because they're sacrificing their time. They're doing it for free. They won't be Krishna conscious. But there'll be a sense of contentment and peace. Because they're doing some sacrifice.
Do you not say there's sacrifice? I mean, apart from watching TV, if you want to be a good footballer, you have to do some sacrifice.
Yeah, you've got to practice, man.
Study at school to pass the exams.
Yeah, it's there in life. If you want to achieve anything in this world, there's some sacrifice will be there. But a lot of persons don't. They don't want to become lazy. They don't do anything. Just lie around on the sofa all day, drinking, taking drugs.
Then they suffer bad health.
Their next life animal. and all life. Guaranteed. Is that their mentality? No sacrifice. Okay. So we finish 1 minute early.
To the mentality at the point where they die, leave the body.
Yeah.
That's why they come on.
They get a body. Krishna gave them a body which they really would be better suited for them. This will better suit you, this body. Because human life, you've got responsibility. Okay, you don't want to be responsible human. Here's a body. You can have sex in the street. You can do what you want. You have a dog's body. You know? All right. What's the time? Let's finish 1 minute early. Hope that's okay. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. We're on text 33, starting next week. We're finished and going to chapter 5 next week. Okay. So thank you. Today I tried to do a bit more of a overview. Okay, to get a good grasp of chapter 4. Okay. So thank you everyone online. Everyone did very well. I think in the exam is very simple, isn't it? Everyone did it very quickly. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.